For your health and wellness needs, visit alsherbs.com, alsherbs.com, because your health is your wealth. For all your tech support needs, visit ASCS Technical Services at ASCSTS.com. We have on-site service as well as remote support options. Check out brokegeniuses.com. Stay in the know. Order some of our latest merchandise as well as use our financial tools to help you on your daily financial journey.
What's going on? What's going on? This is the Broke Genius. This is Friday, TGIF. It is Finance Friday, so we're going to be talking about a budget today. So, if you lived up under a rock, which most people haven't, you heard of a budget before. Okay, you might not follow a budget, but you may follow one right now. You might change your mind. Now, the budgeting is like one of the, I would say, essential parts of personal finance, even business. It's just one of those line items you start with first. So, for example, if you have a job, when you get young, you spend a lot of money, or you get a credit card in college, you quickly learn, someone tells you, hey, you need a budget, to, avoid from having to call your mom, call your dad for some money, trying to eat ramen noodles because you don't have any money to really buy any groceries. A lot of people go through that in college. They learn quickly that you only have so much money. No matter what ideas you might think in your head, you need to have a budget. What's going on, Soul Shader? So budgeting is just pretty much, I would say, one of the first, if not essential part of finance. It's just basically, a budget is how much you have versus how much your expenses are. So ideally down the road in future um as far as future planning is concerned, ideally you want your budget to be you want to be under budget, right? Because that means that you have more money that you have left over versus how much money um, you actually having to spend. So typically, a budget consists of typical household budget is basically your electricity costs or utility costs, your your food costs, and just typically if you think about everything, every bill that you have associated with your house, your transportation to where you work or you do business, as well as you can even adjust it to whatever you want, or you could just make just one line item of miscellaneous, just some money left over, just a little bit of money for to cover things that are just miscellaneous items. So I use for I don't necessarily use personal capital for a budget, but I have basically a I set up a figure just to say, okay, this is how much I want to actually spend a month. Some months I go over budget, some months I go under budget. A lot of times, depending on what's going on, I go under budget. But right now, because I got a lot of stuff going on, I'm over budget. So with that being said, I actually created a tool, and I'm gonna explain further about this. Okay, so this tool, I'm gonna put it in my chat here, and I'm gonna show you basically what I created. What's going on? Said, let's see here. Just today, I was able to buy Alibaba stocks. Okay, yeah, the market is kind of crashing, but what I ended up doing was I got out and then I bought some shares for like less the cost. So I bought actually more shares. So I got out of Naked Brands for 300. I had 300 shares. I got out and then I got back in and I got like 350 shares now. But yeah, the market is it's a lot going on. It's a lot of stress on the markets. So basically, if you go to my site, brokegeniuses.com, you'll basically see something new. I've created a budget calculator. Okay, so um, if you go there, I'm on my work laptop, so I won't be able to actually go there. That's why I put the link. If you go there, it's actual. If you look on the right hand side, there's actually a budget calculator. So you could plug in all of your expenses, and what it'll do is it'll say how much money you have left over every month, and then also even every day down to the day, how much money you actually have as far as to spend. But the rule of thumb is you want to be under budget. You don't want to be over budget because if you're part of the millionaire savings plan, you are basically trying to be a millionaire. You need to get there with basically saving money, investing. People that say you shouldn't save money, they're being somewhat disingenuous because how are you going to be able to invest if you don't have any money? How do you have money? You save it. So how does a squirrel have a whole bunch of nuts? He saves it so he won't starve over the winter. Okay, same concept. A lot of times animals are more advanced than we are. They have more common sense and more sense than to do things the right way than we do. Bought a little bit more of Neo today. Got a 300, got three. Okay. Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, when the stuff is on sale as far as stocks and stuff like that, definitely want to capitalize on it. Definitely. But as far as like, animals like, chunks they store, whatever, a lot of times it's acorns or, any type of sustenance to survive for the winter. That's what they do. But animals, I mean, well, yeah, human animals, we have a problem with understanding that we need to save. So the first rule of thumb when you're trying to start off, let's say you only have $100, in your savings account. What you want to do is you want to first get enough food, and then you want to get caught up on your current bills. Okay. Once you get caught up on your current bills, then what you're going to do is you got groceries. You're going to not go out and eat whatever you want carte blanche. Because if you, like, for example, when I did my budget, it said I'd only have like $20 a day to spend. So if I got $20 to spend and I'm trying to save money and I'm trying to go under budget, I really want to only spend $10. And really, if I can, even though it's easy to do that now because a lot of people are indoors. A lot of people, I mean, there's a second wave of the coronavirus and all of kind of universal planetary systems that are, going on retrogrades and whatnot. That's why things are really, really crazy right now. People are, kind of really, really temperamental and, sarcastic and snotty and, you know, people getting probably into arguments now and all kind of stuff. I've been just kind of staying away and being mindful of that and just kind of like, keeping cool. But, you know, basically, a lot of people are staying indoors more often now because it's just the way things are now. Now, if you're, you going out, you keep in mind, all right, I'm not gonna stop at Denny's and get that Grand Slam because my budget is only $20. So I'm not gonna even spend, I could probably tops, I could spend at least $10 today. Every day I'm gonna spend $10. And if you really smart, you'll be like, all right, well, I'll just add up all of the $10 increments that I have to save for, like, maybe another day I might be able to spend $30 because I went 3 days in a row without spending even $10. I only spent $5 today, or I've only spent, whatever, as long as it's under $20, pretty much you can start to save more money other than spend it, because that is the key. A lot of times people are over budget, and what you want to do is when you're over budget, you want to look at, okay, what can I sacrifice? Because a lot of times you can sacrifice something. You can sacrifice Netflix. Okay, they already worth $100 billion, whatever, 500, $300 billion. They're all right. They're not liking their subscription loss or whatever, but I mean, they're gonna be fine. Okay, they're not gonna lose your little $9, $10 a month or whatever they charge. If you not using certain things, just, yeah, just cancel it, or instead of maybe driving your car, try to carpool. I mean, it's a lot of things that you could do, and then even long-term strategies that you could do to if you're over budget. You know, like a lot of times, here's the thing with as far as budget items. Most of the time, your budget is gonna keep. A lot of it is gonna be home based, meaning it's based off of where you live. So, if you live somewhere, you got to pay for, electricity. You got to pay for rent or a mortgage or, taxes and whatnot. Um, Upkeep of the house and all of that type of stuff. HOA fees and stuff like that. Those items when it comes to cost of living as far as your housing costs, a lot of people's budget is going to be a good chunk of it is going to be in that sector. So if you looking at it like, okay, well, right now I got, I'm dealing with this situation where my mortgage is, high and I'm house poor. If you don't know what house poor is, just go through a few of my videos and you'll find out what that means, but or Google it. But basically, you might not be able to do nothing right now about it, but maybe a few months from now, maybe a year from now, you could, make a strategy, an exit strategy to get out of your townhouse or your house and kind of downsize. If you're paying $1,800 for a mortgage, you don't got a good interest rate or whatever, but the house is worth amount of money where you can actually sell it for maybe a profit or even break even, because the goal is just basically to get out of the house and downgrade to where your mortgage is not $1,800, it's like you know $1,100 or $1,200, because that $700, you know, that can help your budget, help you be under budget. You know, you can use that towards other things. Or that's why people go, live with family or go do other means of living. For example, a lot of people probably don't know. I mean, the people that are hardcore um, financial geeks, they know about the story of Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki and his wife, they had money, but what they wanted to do, because housing costs so much, they wanted to save as much money as they can. I mean, this is drastic. This is just a story, but they basically lived out of a van. Okay. They lived out of a van for a while, or a camper or something like that. And, they just slept in their vehicle for a while, and they started to save a lot of money sleeping in their vehicle. And they used that money to go back into their businesses. And then also, you got people that are doing all kind of things to save money. So, such as myself, I got a house, in the Midwest, basically, and it's very, very inexpensive. Repairs are more expensive than the house, but the end goal is, once everything is done, I'll just have to just finish the contract payment, and I'll only have to pay taxes at the end of the year. I won't have to pay even a mortgage or a rent. So all I would have to pay is utilities and whatever else I want to pay for, and that's that. So now, sometimes you could look at your budget, and you could figure out what you can cut and add. Now, here's another thing that you can think about, and this is also, so I got things I do outside of my regular job, right? So, I pretty much I do DoorDash. I do a little eBay sales. I sell herbs and other items that are on my website, alsherbs.com, as you saw in the intro. So I do that, and then other things. I got my IT support business. I do that, and that adds to my budget. Okay, so another thing, it's an old logic where it's like basically some guys are like, all right, well, I'm not worried about coffee or whatever because you know sometimes people concern themselves about saving too much or cutting their budget. How about just make more money? Well, I mean that's where I'm going, but it's not a situation where, because see, a lot of times what people will do, they'll make more money, but then they'll just like, okay, I got a raise. I asked my boss for a raise, for a $10 raise, and he gave it to me. Yay! And then, oh, okay, well, now it's time to increase my budget. Now it's like, okay, well, it's time for me to get, you know, a whole bunch more money added to my budget. Cause that's what a lot of people do. Like, you make more money, it's like, all right, well, you'll start to look at a situation where you were under budget, or no, you're over budget, now you're under budget. All right, well, I'm gonna max it out. I'm gonna increase my credit lines. I'm gonna do this and this. And then next thing you know, now you're the hamster in the hamster wheel. And what I mean by that is that you're the person that is constantly moving up and up on the hamster wheel, and you're just working and working. And what are you working for? You're working for expenses. You're paying all your money to other people in other companies. And you're wondering why, damn, I make pretty good money, but all my money's gone at the end of the month. I don't have any savings. I'm just, what am I working for? I mean, am I working to help other people get rich? I mean, these are the thoughts that I was thinking years and years ago. Like, I had these thoughts, and I was trying to understand this, these different concepts of why am I working? What am I working for? To just pay all of this, pay everybody to basically just feed off of me. And that's just how I thought about it. And it's like, I know a lot of people know I'm not the only one. So that's why I say you should focus on your budget first. You should focus on being under budget, because you definitely do want to always make more money. Okay. But you don't want to make more money and not focus on your budget either. So we already out of the month of Libra, where it's, the scales and it's balance. So the reason why I say you should focus on your budget is because you don't want to just be like, all right, I'm just gonna focus on making more money, and then I'm just gonna spend more money. No, that's not good. You're not the United States government. You can't depend on other things to make money or whatever. It's just you. If you make more money, that doesn't mean you get to spend more money or whatever. Like, you still should look at your budget ideally, because you still want to be like, that's an opportunity if you do make more money to be well under budget. This is the opportunity for you to add that money that you already make. And if you using the MSP, millionaire savings plan, that's more money that you can save to get higher up those steps. And then you can get a reward after each step you got. And then if you got debt, you can increase your debt payments to get out of debt. You that extra money shouldn't be used for just to kick it with your lady friends or your guy friends over on the weekend. Like the goal is wealth to be transitioned to your children and to form more wealth and better your life. You know what I'm saying? It's not so you can buy more shit, to have a good time and have a house full of like garbage, that you don't even want anymore. That's not the goal when you're, trying to be, make more money. The focus of making more money versus just working with what you already have. So you got a bottom column. You got two columns. You got what's your current income, and I just put other income because other income is just basically income outside of your current income, your main job, your day job. So it's like you combine those both, and that's how much you ideally on average make every month. So that's your total income. So if you plug in all of those numbers on that site, it'll get you where you'll figure out where you under budget at. Now you might have to, if you have no budget, because I already had a budget. I just plugged in the figures of my current budget and I did that. I mean, I got everything down to pretty much every bill I have. Now the thing is that if you haven't had a budget, which a lot of people don't have, you might have to gather your bills and everything and take a look at it, you know. Because ideally what you want to do is you want to have a budget, and I recommend someone to have like you got mint.com. I'll put this in the chat. You got mint.com. I've used Mint before, but I also I use Personal Capital. Personal Capital is pretty good. And what these platforms are good for is they combine all of your accounts into one. So your brokerage accounts, your savings accounts, your checking accounts, your credit card, your debt that you have, like your student loan account, you combine all of that and it combines it for you and it gives you your net worth. Okay. It gives you because these sites basically are for your personal balance sheet. It's like a personal balance sheet. So with that in the budget, the goal is to increase your net worth with that budget money left over every month. You use that to increase your net worth. Okay. So got some questions I see here. All right. You see how Mint came out with their own phone service? I actually had thought about using it because it's just so cheap. I think I did see something that said Mint and it was associated with cell phone service, but I wasn't quite sure. I really didn't know that that was actually Mint. But yeah, it is ways where you can actually start a cell phone company. Like there's ways where you can actually start your own cell phone company. It's kind of expensive, but you actually can start a cell phone company. You can even create your own ISP. You could create an internet. You could be an internet service provider. You just have to have you have to buy towers. You have to buy like basically infrastructure, create it. It's been like it's like people that actually created their own ISP. You know, they were in an area where the connection was bad and they saw opportunity. They created their own ISP in their garage, branched it out, marketed it to the local neighbors and people in their, area in the town. They're making money with being having their own ISP. Okay. It's I mean, it's stripped out, man. It's like the stuff that you can do, you'll be surprised, man. But yeah, I got Boost Mobile. I pay like $50 for unlimited. I've had just about everything. I've had Verizon, I've had AT&T, I've had T-Mobile, I've had Sprint. Let's see, what else did I have had? I've had Cricket. I've had what's the other one that was like a little cheap little ghetto phone plan? Simple Mobile. Matter of fact, I used to in my before I closed my computer shop, I was actually collecting payments for a cell phone service. I was actually going to get tapped into cell phones before I started shutting everything down. I was actually getting into I had finally got a account to collect payments for prepaid cell phone services. I was getting into challenging the Arabian brothers in their cell phone shops. And it was like, pretty much just a lot of stuff happened. But yeah, man, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So yeah. I created that budget. That's the first of many to come. That's a calculator I created using the portal. It's on the website brokegeniuses.com. And I think the next calculator that I'm going to create, let me see, what is the next I know I want to create a stock profit calculator. I actually found a pretty good one, um, very simple calculator, but I'm going to create one and put it on my site as well. And it's going to be a stock profit calculator. So the other calculator that I'm going to put is the 1.5 rule calculator. And another calculator would be, think, it's another, it's a 1.5 rule. So pretty much, so far, off the top of my head, the next calculator would be the 1.5 rule, and I mean basically that's your income, whatever your income is, times 1.5. I mean basically zero point 0.5, which is, well, actually not times, but plus uh zero point 0.5 of your income. So if you make 50,000, you'll add 25,000 to it. And what that rule is basically that rule puts you in a position so when you buy a house, you're not most likely you're not house poor, because you can't get like $200,000 house. You're not gonna, you avoid with that rule buying a $200,000 house making only 50 grand a year. You would only be able to buy a house that maybe tops 100 grand, because you'll only qualify for a $75,000 house. And what you'll do is you'll put an offer in for $100,000 house for 75,000 and get close to it. Because here's the thing, I'm not saying you got to follow everybody's rule or any up and coming financial guru or guru that's already mega rich and a millionaire, such as like, you know, Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman or anything like that. You don't necessarily, I mean, obviously, you don't follow everybody to the T, but let's say You find a house and it's 80,000 or even 85,000. Yeah, you buy it. Yeah, because at least you're close to it. Okay. Now, ideally, if you did, buy it for even less than 75,000, if you can, if you're in a market where you can do that, you're going to get a house where your mortgage payment for a 15-year mortgage is like $600. And then depending on add whatever taxes, whatever the rate of taxes is with that, versus getting a house that's way, way more expensive, double that, you'd be paying $1,200 a month, you know. So it's like it's a rule that you can calculate quickly. I mean, I really don't even think I would need to make a calculator, but I mean, I'll just do it. But I mean, it's gonna put you. But you know what I'll do is this is what I'll do to make it really good. I'll make the calculator where it gives you the amount of what you can purchase versus your income. And then I'll have it plug in that number and then add however many years the mortgage is that you want and what the payment will be. I won't put any taxes in there. It'll be just a general calculator for what the home will be, and then you know divided by the interest rate and the actual what it'll basically give you what the actual monthly payment will be for that house. Okay, so uh upon doing that, you could see the power of that 1.5 rule. And this is something yours truly came up with. This is something that I came up with my own calculations because see, here's the thing. Why did I do this? Why is this important? Why am I talking about being house poor to avoid being house poor? I saw my dear mother go through being house poor. I've seen the whole country deal with being house poor during the market collapse and even after the market collapse, such as in my mother's case. And seeing them, basically being hurt by them losing all of their money from losing their mortgage. And then here's the thing, like it's people even at doctors, man. I worked at a lot of corporations and I talked to a lot of people, man. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, you name it. And these people, man, were affected. Some of these people were affected by losing their house. A doctor I met at a corporation, he lost his house in a foreclosure in California, and because the bank offered him, because he short sold the house and got out of the mortgage, the actual surplus of what he got back from the sale that lost money, that the mortgage credited him, he had to pay taxes on that. He had to pay taxes on that actual, because his house was like 1 point something $1 million. So the government didn't let him get out of that tax obligation. So he got stuck with a huge tax bill that he said he might not never be able to pay off in his life. I mean, you're talking about an older guy. He was like at the time about 60 something. So I mean, this is something that affected people of all demographics, financial demographics. Okay, you talking about a upper class guy that has got huge tax obligations to pay. Now, taking that, and then also the guy that is struggling to pay his mortgage. this formula helps with that. It solves that solution. You know, it makes it where I'm not saying that you can't, you won't be vulnerable, or it's not 100% foolproof, but it is something that basically it's a way for you to have some type of sword to slay the dragon with. It's a tool, if you respect it, to basically use where you don't have to be house poor. You most likely won't be house poor with this rule, this rule of calculation. So that's why I'm really into that. Why That's why I came up with that idea. Because I'm not necessarily against mortgages. Some people are against mortgages. I'm not against it. It's only responsible individuals that can pretty much get out of a mortgage, because mortgages are very, very very difficult. So very difficult you know loan to play with. It's risky. So you do have to find a place to live, and it's a way for you to get someplace to live, but it's a very hardcore loan to play around with, because the thing is that if you don't calculate how much your taxes are, and you get too much of a house that you can afford, and you become a house poor, it could be just like what the word mortgage means, basically death payment. In the word more, mort it's associated with death. You know, more death, like morgue, mortician, mortgage. So I would say definitely you definitely want to be careful when you playing with financial death, okay? Because that's pretty much what it is. So you got people out here messing around playing with death, with a death loan basically, and it's not nothing to be played with. You want to have a plan, a personal financial plan to pay that mortgage off, or you want to protect your investment, buy in a very good neighborhood. Definitely get the best property for your buck, and build up equity as much as you can, and then sell it for some money. I mean, and then pass that money on to another property, and then the next house you won't have to put that much down. Because you coming in the door with 50,000 that you made off of the sale of your other house. So it's upward mobility. I mean, you want upward mobility. You don't want downward mobility. That's the whole thing of it. But um, you know, like I said, I'm not against the whole mortgage thing, and I know the way I just described mortgages is gonna, like, people will probably swallowing they're probably spitting out their freaking strawberry shortcake. Probably their hearts probably dropped, you know, because I don't like to sugarcoat things. Like, things are how they are. I mean, I'm a black pill type of dude. I accept the real hardcore truth. I've already accepted it. I've done a lot of research. I accept the world the way it is. And a lot of times the way it is kind of rough. And it is what it is. Now, I will say this to not have people, losing sleep tonight. I mean, okay, you get out of your house, you get in a foreclosure, it's a personal debt. You could file bankruptcy. You can, reestablish yourself. A lot of people had to do that in 2008, 2009. People have to do that sometimes. Now, another thing is no, you're not necessarily because you can't pay your mortgage. They're not. You don't have to, like in ancient Rome, go off into slavery because you can't pay for your house. Okay, but somebody's gonna replay this and then listen to me and say, "Shit," because I mean the fact, because I know what they gonna say, because it's like, people, what are you working for? It goes back to that whole statement. You're a lot. I mean, the whole idea of minimalism. You're not a slave to your house if you own your house, right? Now I know the absolute people, because you have the absolutely people or the absolute people. Yeah, you still are because of taxes. Well, okay. Um, we're not like Michael Jackson, song Michael Jackson. You are not alone, motherfucker. I mean, we live in society. You have obligations. I mean, you want the fire department to get paid, right? You want the police department to get paid so they can be the person to come, so they can actually have gas in their car to come to the rescue when you need them, right? So you got to pay taxes, dude. Okay, so I mean, yeah, it's a you want your child to actually have a school to go to, right? I mean, all of that stuff is obligated for by taxes, and then not only that, you want motherfuckers to just have free open airspace to just bomb the hell out of you. You got to pay the military too. Okay, so it's a must. It's a need. That is needed, that you got to take care of, but at least you don't have to pay for your place to live if you own your house and you actually have the title, you have the deed, you have no rent to pay, no mortgage to pay. It's power in that. Okay, so I say all that to say basically that is the goal. That's you don't have to be a slave to doing things that you don't necessarily want to do if you're not a slave to mm, being a consumer, because a lot of people are consumer slaves. They got to have this purse and that purse and this shoe. They got to live in this house in this neighborhood and it has to look like this. So everybody will be impressed by them. And I have to have this, and this, and this, and this, and all of this costs what? Money. And what do you got to go do? Go to work. Got to get your broke ass up and go to work because you got to pay for all that shit you bought. So that's why people that do certain things to minimalize their life. It's power in that, and that comes from a budget. So went kind of long on this one, but I am not surprised at all. I wish I could have I kind of gave a little uh, kind of snapshot of the budget calculator, but I'm typically a lot of times on late at night too because I'm a night owl slash insomniac sometimes. So I'll definitely give a portrayal of the actual budget calculator, but it's on brokegenius.com. If I drop some gems and some truth bombs, let me know. My future video is gonna be on SpongeBob, SquarePants, and I mean, well, not for Financial Friday, but my other, because I do other videos. My future video is gonna be on SpongeBob and SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Sandy the Squirrel, because you got a lot of these people, man, that watch your shit, rich motherfuckers and celebrities, entertainers, and shit, and don't give you no accreditation, don't give you no like or nothing. I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna be lighting y'all ass up, man, because I'm all for people, man, watching my videos and stuff like that, but a lot of you motherfuckers are SpongeBob SquarePants. But yeah, um, I'm gonna and Sandy the Squirrel. So let me end this off. But I appreciate your viewership, and I hope already have a budget. And if you need assistance, definitely check out brokegeniuses.com. If you need advice, I've got the links below in the description, and also my other videos. If you need help setting up, I'm very highly skilled in Excel, a lot of things, wealth of knowledge, wealth of information. Ask a Genius is definitely up. You need some help with your baby daddy, your baby mama, your wife, ex-wife. I'm one advice away. Ask a Genius is on my website, brokegeniuses.com. Need assistance? I'm one click away. Get a private Zoom call. You'll see my big mug, or if you want to talk to me over the phone or freaking whatever you want to send smoke signals to communicate with me, I will do so. What's going on, Seven Coast? You guys have a good one.